Why don't the Leaning Tower of Pisa and Big Ben ever visit each other? One lacks the time and the other lacks the inclination. Well, the Tower of Pisa is probably one of the most recognizable buildings in the world. Everyone knows about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. But behind the famous tilt are some fascinating facts, and I have gathered 10 of the most interesting facts for you in this episode. The 12th century, around which the construction of Pisa Tower began, was a particularly good century for the Republic of Pisa. Yes, this was during the time when Italy was not a unified kingdom and had various regional powers. The once small seaport became a regional powerhouse, and along with it grew the importance of the city's military, commercial and political importance. And so, being prosperous like any other medieval Italian city, Pisa started investing in the construction of grand buildings to display their stature. They decided to build a field of miracles after sacking Palermo in 1063 to display all of the treasures they brought back from their exploits in Sicily. This field of miracles would eventually be home to a cathedral, baptistry, cemetery, and one bell tower. And with that, we come to our first interesting fact. Number 1. The Leaning Tower of Pisa was not meant as an independent structure. It represents the bell tower of the nearby cathedral, the Cathedral of Santa Maria Assunta. Moreover, the tower belongs to a bigger architectural complex that includes the cathedral and its bell tower, the baptistry, and the cemetery, Camposanto. The tower was the last element to be built on site. Number 2. Technically, it took more than 2 centuries to complete the Tower of Pisa. They still didn't get it right. So it took around 199 years to complete the build. Construction work started in 1173 but finished in 1372. The main reason being that the Republic of Pisa often took part in important battles that forced the construction to stop every time. There were 3 different phases of the construction. The first phase lasting till 1272, the conflicts between Pisa and Genoa, Lucca and Florence interfered with the works. In the second phase, Genoa defeated the Republic of Pisa in the Battle of Meloria. The third phase runs from 1284 to 1319, when the last floor was finally added to the tower. However, the bell chamber that officially completed the construction was added many years later in 1372. Number 3. As I mentioned in the short episode earlier this week, the Tower of Pisa was not leaning initially. The tilting towards the north started with the completion of the second floor because of the composition of the soil underneath. Some say the name Pisa actually comes from Greek, meaning marshy sands. The terrain in this area is mainly made of clay and naturally not solid enough to sustain such a tall structure. Add that with the fact that the tower's foundation are only 3 meters deep, not enough for the height and the soil composition. Many studies consider the battles keeping the city of Pisa busy for many years a real fortune. In fact, according to many studies, those long breaks during the construction allowed the soil below to settle. Number 4. Following from that, it would be natural to assume that if they made more towers in the region, that they would have similar issues. And you would be right to assume that. The bell tower of the Church of San Nicola, built around the same period. This octagonal bell tower originates from 1170 and also features a slight slouch on one side. Also, another bell tower belonging to the Church of Saint Michael de Scalzi is tilting. You find the complex on a boulevard called Viale delle Piagge, where piagge was a Latin word to describe a low plain prone to flooding. Due to the marshy nature of the soil, the cathedral and baptistry are also sinking. This is despite the Camposanto cemetery being built on sods of earth that were transported by ship from Jerusalem to Pisa. Number 5. So how many degrees is the tower actually leaning? The initial tilting happened with the completion of the second tower and was about 0.2 degrees. When the bell chamber was added in the early 1370s, the tilt reached 1.6 degrees. The crucial tilting point was in the 1990s when the lean was about 5.5 degrees. In the following years, many restoration works have been made in order to reduce the tilt, and today it is only 3.97 or 4 degrees. Number 6. Benito Mussolini is believed to have worsened an already bad situation. In 1934, he stated that he was ashamed of the Leaning Tower of Pisa, calling its construction and design a national disgrace. In order to try to fix it, he ordered that resources be allocated to straightening the tower and that hundreds of holes be drilled into the tower's foundation. The idea was to pump it with tons of grout in an effort to rectify its tilt. Instead, it made the base heavier and the tower lean even more than it did before. Number 7. The bells in the towers haven't been rung authentically since the 20th century. Since the tower represents the bell tower of the nearby cathedral, 7 huge bells were located on its top. The peculiarity about the heavy bells is that each of them has a proper name and corresponds to the 7 musical notes. Many engineers worry about the possible vibration that could compromise the tilting and make the tower lean more if the bells were ever rung again. Number 8. The Allies intended to destroy the tower during World War II. The American soldiers had orders to tear down any and all buildings in Italy that could serve as lookout points or nests for enemy snipers during the World War II. In fact, the Germans who were occupying Italy at the time did often use the tower as a lookout, but it said that when the Allies arrived, they were so impressed by the beauty of the Leaning Tower of Pisa and the surrounding field of miracles that they decided not to level the area. Number 9. The title of the Wonders of the World is usually awarded to one-of-a-kind structure that belongs to the ancient world. Despite being a reproduction of the medieval ages, the Leaning Tower of Pisa was declared as one of the 7 wonders of the world for its exceptional Romanesque architecture, its sheer size, and because it miraculously leans while still holding still. In 1987, the Leaning Tower of Pisa was declared a World Heritage Site, and since then the entire complex belongs to UNESCO. The 4 buildings here, located in the Square of Miracles, formerly called Piazza del Duomo, boast stunning medieval architecture that continues to define and influence monumental Italian art. Number 10 and the last one. The Leaning Tower is currently stable. The tower has survived centuries of well-meaning but misguided attempts to right it, including various engineers who added levels and arches of all different heights, and one overzealous group who dug around the tower to open an underground door, which only helped to fill the area with even more water. But someone finally got it right in the 21st century, and as of 2001, the tower was officially declared stable for at least the next 200 years. In 2008, engineers found that the tower is officially no longer moving, the first time in its history that it hasn't been slowly listing to one side. Who knows what the future holds? What will happen after 200 years? So that is all I have for you today. Hope you all enjoyed these interesting facts about the Leaning Tower of Pisa. If you know of something I have not covered, please share it in the comment section below. And if you like this episode, like and share it with others, and please consider subscribing to the podcast for more episodes. Until next time, take care, be good, and thank you so much for listening.